Hi, this is Adam Blaylock, and you're listening to Adam the Movie Guy. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show. Warning, the show you're about to listen to contains strong language and an unhinged host. Don't take me too serious, I'm doing a bit here, so stay the fuck off my back. Enjoy. If this shocks you, if this offends you, then you clicked on the wrong fucking podcast.
Try as they will, and try as they might. Who steals be gold, won't live through the night.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Adam the Movie Guy. I'm your lovable, unhinged host, Adam, and this episode is covering the 1993 classic film, The Leprechaun, or just Leprechaun. Directed by Mark Jones and starring the man, the myth, the legend, Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, Jennifer Aniston as Tori, Ken Olant? Whatever the fuck. Ken as Nathan, Mark Holton as Ozzy, Robert Gorman as Alex, and Shea Buffin as Dan O'Grady. Now, the reason why I chose the Leprechaun to cover is pretty obvious. We're now in the St. Patrick's Day Holy Month, and I thought it would make sense to cover every single film in the Leprechaun series. Now, these films are just so bad it's good territory, and I mean that in the best way possible because of how, well, let's be honest, they're fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's a horror film series about a leprechaun, for Christ's sake. And the best thing about these films is obviously Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun because, well, no pun intended, he is pure fucking gold. And just a wonderful actor. Now, I'm going to run through the film's plot, just sum up key points, plot beats. And then I'm going to break it down. I'll discuss certain things about the film, certain characters. Maybe get into some behind-the-scenes stuff. And, throw in my usual 2-cent unhinged commentary to go along with it. So, let's get started. Alright, so the film kicks off in 1983 in North Dakota, where an old Irish guy named Dan O'Grady is coming back from Ireland, where he stole a leprechaun's gold, and unfortunately for him, the leprechaun tracked him down and confronts him, demanding he return it, killing his wife in the process. Dan ends up managing to capture the leprechaun with the help of a 4-leaf clover, which is his weakness, and it puts him in a crate with the clover on top of it, preventing the leprechaun from using his magic to escape. Dan tries to set the crate on fire, but unfortunately he has a super convenient heart attack before he can do the deed, and the film ends up jumping 10 years to the then current 1993. A young woman named Tori is moving in with her father to the old, now abandoned shithole O'Grady house, which her father bought. And like I said, it's a disgusting shithole mess. And Tori is a whiny brat about it. This is where we meet the rest of the characters who are contractors painting the house. We got Nathan, the handsome leading man, who Tori has a somewhat budding romance throughout the film with. His 10-year-old brother Alex, who is kind of a little shit to be honest, but at the same time kind of likable in some scenes and moments. And then there's Ozzy, his grown man best friend, he's basically Lenny from Of Mice and Men. He's a kind-hearted, seems to be somewhere on the spectrum, and he loves Alex like a little brother. Anyway, while working on the house, Ozzy ends up freeing the leprechaun after knocking the 4-leaf clover off the crate, and the leprechaun, of course, is still pissed off and demands his gold. Ozzy escapes, and of course, no one believes him about the leprechaun. I mean, why the fuck would you? After some bullshit occurs to get Tori's father out of the movie, the Leprechaun reveals himself to the rest of the gang, terrorizing them and demanding his gold back, which Ozzy and Alex found at the end of a rainbow and hid in the well by the house. Ozzy ended up swallowing one of the coins, which comes into play towards the end. They tried to call the cops, but unfortunately Ozzy told them it was a leprechaun, so of course that means no help is coming. They visit Dan O'Grady, who shockingly is still alive after that heart attack 10 years ago, and he's in some sort of home to find a way to kill the leprechaun. They want to, pick his brain about that. Anyway, O'Grady tells Tori they need a 4-leaf clover to touch the leprechaun, which would kill him or make him vulnerable. It's kind of muddy, to be honest. I'll get to that in a later segment. O'Grady ends up dying after being attacked by the leprechaun, and that leprechaun absolutely fucking destroyed him. I mean, it was all off screen, but he looked like he went through a fucking blender. And after a lot of shenanigans, Tori gives the leprechaun his gold back, but he demands the final gold coin, which is inside Ozzy, so he ends up attacking him to get his coin back and starts clawing the shit out of him, stabbing him with a belt buckle, which is kind of badass. Alex manages to use a 4-leaf clover to slingshot it into the leprechaun's mouth, and he gives off a great one-liner, which I'll play back later, and ends up mortally wounding the leprechaun, and he falls inside the well. They end up setting the well ablaze, which fucking explodes somehow, I don't know why, seemingly killing the leprechaun for good as the film ends. That's all for the overall story, so I'm just going to break it down and discuss a few things, starting off with the characters. So let's get started. Getting into the characters, I want to start off by briefly talking about Tori. Tori, played by Jennifer Aniston in one of her earliest roles before she, broke out in the Friends TV show 1 year later after this film's release, is a very solid actress even at this young age. She starts off the film as kind of a whiny brat, but very quickly I warmed up to the character. Although, I was really fucking annoyed with her at first, refusing to believe the leprechaun was a fucking leprechaun, even yelling at Ozzy about it, with her admitting in a scene after they just got attacked, saying she knows the leprechaun isn't human, right? But she refuses to fucking believe it's a leprechaun, even with his appearance.
Boy, that leprechaun sure is mean.
It is not a leprechaun, damn it! Ozzy, now, I admit I don't know what the hell that thing was, but it is not a leprechaun. You understand?
I was just listening to her, and I was like, what? If I was in that room with her, I'd say, bitch, what the fuck do you think it is? Are you blind? Goddamn Stevie Wonder could have seen that was a leprechaun. I hate it when movies do that shit. It's an infuriating trope. The non-believer skeptic sees some supernatural shit happen and absolutely refuses to call it for what it is because they just don't want to believe it or they don't want to admit that they were wrong. Now, okay, I get that as human beings, for the most part, there's always going to be a part of ourselves saying, this can't be real, or there has to be a scientific explanation for it when we see what appears to be something supernatural that you can't think of a logical or scientific explanation with it. I get that, I do. However, at the same time, how far are you willing to disbelieve something even like I said, there is no explanation for it. At least nothing scientific, whatever.
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun, me dear.
Seriously, every character I see that do in an unreasonable amount of dose, or what the fuck was I saying? In a reasonable amount, I just want to grab their neck and I want to fucking wring it. Some positives for her character. She does become more endearing throughout the film, like I said, and Jennifer Aniston, even at that age of 21 when she filmed this, was a very solid actress, and back then I could tell she was going to go places. They even say that damn near word for word on the making of video for the movie, that they could tell that she was something special. Also, she is absolutely beautiful. And the guy or woman operating the camera definitely knows it since the focus on her face in a lot of shots, and especially her legs, are very prominent. Damn. Jennifer Aniston was always a fucking smoke show. If you guys think I'm drooling over her, just wait until I get to the main girl in the sequel. Holy shit, I'm gonna need a pack of smokes and to be hosed down afterwards. Oh, I'm getting bricked up already just thinking about it. Oof, I truly don't know which is the best Adam, angry, unhinged Adam, or horny Adam. Now, I personally think a combination of that is the best. Like, when I hate a certain female character in a movie for being mean or unlikable in general, but at the same time, they're extremely attractive and, well, I want to clap their cheeks raw. It's like... It's like that quote about hate fucking in the first Deadpool movie, or that scene in the second 300 movie where Eva Green, or what the fuck is her name, Eva Green, and the main guy are just hate fucking in that one scene. At the top of my head, one character comes to mind is Erin in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, played by Jessica Biel. Her friends and boyfriend dying are completely on her, well, and her stupid-ass girlfriend. The guys wanted to leave the situation when they had the chance, but this fucking chick had to force the call that ultimately led to everyone else's death. Way to go, you fucking idiot. Now, having said that, now hear me out, guys. Erin is hot as fuck. Seriously, if you haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, look it up and check out Jessica Biel as Erin in that movie. God damn, she has it going on. Every single part of her. I think one of the guys from my favorite podcast, and in my humble opinion, the best podcast in the entire world, the Skeleton Crew, love you guys, said it best about Jessica Biel. When your stomach is in contention with your titties and ass, you got it going on. I absolutely hate the character of Erin in that movie, but hand to God, I admit, if she showed interest in me, God knows why she would, but if she did, well, I'm just going to say it. Like I said earlier, I'd clap those cheeks raw. It would be, oh, God damn it. I fucking hate you. I'm going to fucking explode inside you. Ugh. You know, nothing crazy. What was this episode about again? Oh, yeah, Leprechaun. Back to Tori. Oh, my God. Oh, my... I'm a fucking maniac.
Oh, let me try. Mess around and get your ass pregnant.
Back to Tori. Overall, she was a decent character. Nothing special. I mean, she's not going to go on a list of best final girls ever, that's for sure. But she was serviceable. She was decent. On to the character Nathan. I really don't have anything to say about him. He's kind of this generic, handsome, main guy, lead type who's pretty fucking boring to watch. And he has to be handicapped throughout the movie by having him step in a bear trap that the Leprechaun was praying somebody would fucking step into. So, I mean, it makes sense since he's the most physically capable of the group, so they had to handicap him somehow, or else he'd probably solve the plot within, 20 minutes tops? So yeah, ho-hum for his character. Now on to Alex. Like I said, he's kind of a little shit, but at the same time, I can't hate his character, since he does care a lot about Ozzy, despite mentioning people make fun of him behind his back, which I'll get to shortly. Why the fuck would you say that even a 10-year-old should know that's kind of shitty? Oh my god. Although he does get the best one-liner in the movie and gets the critical blow against the Leprechaun by slingshotting the clover into his mouth.
Fuck you, Leprechaun.
Now, on to Ozzy. To put it simply, he is the heart of the movie, and I was very sympathetic to his character. Now, it's kind of ambiguous, but I guess it's implied that he's possibly on the spectrum somewhere. It's kind of hard to tell. If he is, it just makes me think, holy fuck. The fact that Alex mentions people make fun of him behind his back is just god-awful. Those people are literal pieces of shit for that one. Now, Ozzy believes a lot in the supernatural, which in the universe of the series is actually real, so it is nice he does get some validation in that department, even though Tori was being a fucking asshole to him about it. His love for Alex is very sweet, and he almost sacrifices his life for him by telling the Leprechaun he has the last coin in his stomach, and the Leprechaun pretty much goes ape shit and starts, fucking Ozzy up. Last thing I want to point out about Ozzy is the actor that plays him is also the large kid, well, fucking finger quote, kid, in the 1985 Teen Wolf movie, which is kind of fucking hilarious. Now, on to the last and certainly the best, the true star of the show, the Leprechaun, played by the legend himself, Warwick Davis. This whole franchise is carried by his performance as the Leprechaun. I can't picture anybody else in the role, which, funny enough, well, not really funny, it fucking blew. It happened twice, but I'll cross that bridge eventually. Ugh. Davis just sells every single line as the Leprechaun and truly makes a ridiculous fucking character so damn iconic. It's pretty incredible. Now, I know these films are often viewed as being in so bad it's good territory, and I agree, to quote my brother-in-law, 100%. However, I kind of have a big soft spot for them, and that's all thanks to Warwick Davis. Now, the Leprechaun in this film is just trying to get his gold back, and it's kind of implied he would just fuck off for good and harm no one else as long as that happens. God help you if he even suspects you of stealing his shit. Now, onto his powers and weaknesses. Throughout the franchise, there is damn near no continuity in terms of what this little bastard can do and what harms him and what kills him. So when watching all these films, I'm going to write down every power he has or that he displays in each individual movie, as well as his weaknesses, and see how much they change for each sequel. In this film alone, these are the following powers he possesses. Voice mimicry.
Did you hide it somewhere near the house? Tell me where you hid the gold.
How did you find me?
The wee people have their magical ways.
You killed my wife.
Hello, Dan. I'm okay. I just got a little kink in my neck.
I should have killed you when I caught you in Ireland.
Give him the gold, Dan. He's a nice little leprechaun.
Limited telekinetic powers. Teleportation. High durability and healing. Strength, well, at least for his size. Limb detachment control, and what I mean by that is you see his hand get cut off and he could still control it remotely, which is kind of cool. And the last thing, this is more of a skill than a superpower, but he's got engineering knowledge since he makes a goddamn go-kart in one of the funniest scenes in the film where the characters are all running into the truck to escape, and he busts out of the barn in this engineered jerry-rig go-kart, and he crashes into the truck, and it fucking is totaled. It is ridiculous. You just gotta see it to believe it. Now on to his weaknesses. He has OCD for shoe shining, which is shown when the characters throw shoes to distract him, and he just is compelled to let them get away just to shine the shoes. Next is no gold equals weaker powers. That's not to say he doesn't have any powers whatsoever. He obviously does, but it's outright stated that without his gold, he is noticeably weaker in terms of his magical abilities. This is shown in the scene in the basement when Ozzy escapes him.
You only got away because my powers are weak. I need me gold!
Last and certainly the most important, 4-leaf clovers. They act as his kryptonite, shutting down his powers when near him and severely harming him when physical contact with a clover occurs. He ends up swallowing it, which causes him to melt, courtesy of Alex with the slingshot. Best line in the movie when he says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms."
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
I love how the Leprechaun has a wisecracking personality and he gets a kick out of fucking with people. An example being in the beginning when after he kills O'Grady's wife, he went out of his way to try her tea that she made.
Your wife makes a fine pot of tea, Daddy me boy.
The sequels took this trait and amped it up further while at the same time kind of making him chill with people in some funny moments, which I'll get into for those movies. On to the kills, there's nothing really to write home about with the exception of one, which is the pogo stick kill. It is as ridiculous as you're picturing in your mind, but I love it. The scene in question involves the Leprechaun killing an antique or pawn shop dealer in town that was examining one of the gold coins Alex and Ozzy took from the Leprechaun. So the Leprechaun attacks the dealer, subduing him till he's floored, and grabs a nearby pogo stick that's, well, conveniently in the room with them, and pogos on his chest until he dies. It's dumb, silly, but really memorable, and I love it. Here's audio of it.
This old lad, he played hard. He played pogo on his life. Teach you to steal me gold.
I love this character, and he deserves to be talked about more when it comes to iconic horror villains. I know the movies aren't exactly that great, and I'm putting it nicely, but the character himself is. Last thing I want to say about the character Warwick Davis before getting into some production details and background shit is that for the love of God, please come back for one more movie with a competent director and script and a decent budget, because you're just so damn iconic as the Leprechaun, and I just can't see anyone else in those buckled boots. And unfortunately they did do that, but just wait, I'll get to it eventually. Alright, some production details. The budget for this film was $900,000 and grossed worldwide $8.5 million. So that's a pretty decent haul, and it made almost $15 million in home video sales alone. Another detail was, although set in North Dakota, I think, it was actually filmed in Saugus, I can't fucking pronounce this town, Saugus, California, and Santa Clarita, California. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't read. When it comes, whatever. When it comes to Jennifer Aniston, for years she kind of denied or ignored the film. It was accused of being embarrassed by it by Warwick Davis himself, but in more recent years she came around to it. Another interesting fact is the production crew and the distribution company Trimark Pictures butted heads a lot through the making of the film. The production crew wanted a straight horror film that was R-rated and bloody, while Trimark Pictures wanted something more family-friendly horror, like Gremlins or Critters, with comedy, a horror comedy. That's what they wanted. So that kind of explains some of the tonal shift in the later half of the movie, where it's much more comedic while at the same time violent, since many of the scenes were reshot to add more blood and gore. Last interesting fact is that the famous rumor for years is that the scene when the Leprechaun eats the off-brand Lucky Charms cereal called Lucky Clovers and he spits it out disgustedly was that it was supposed to be the actual Lucky Charms cereal, but the company that owned the cereal, General Mills, demanded they remove it from the movie, so the line at the end, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," was supposedly supposed to be a take that to the owners. That actually wasn't true. However, the studio did hate the line and wanted it cut from the movie, but the director insisted it stay, and thank God he won out, because I love that line. And I fucking hate it when studios interfere with the production of films anyway. That's all for the production info and background stuff, so let's get into my overall thoughts and rank of the film to end the show. I honestly think this is a solid, fun little B horror comedy that is elevated by Warwick Davis's just fantastic performance. And while it's definitely not one of the greats, dear God, it's not, it's an entertaining watch for the Leprechaun character alone. For the ranking system, I will be doing the Clover system, go figure, 0 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And guys, keep in mind, all these films, aside from 1 and 2, in my opinion, aren't really that good. I'm being very nice right now. I am ranking on how much I enjoyed the films, not on their overall quality. So, for the original Leprechaun film, I will award it 3 clovers out of 5. I was originally only going to do 2.5, but goddamn does Warwick Davis carry this film. I mean, hell, he carries all of them, but it helps that 1 and 2, like I said, are solid as a whole. Well, guys, this is the end of the show. Tune in next time for Leprechaun 2. Take care, and remember, when it comes to encountering this Leprechaun, you just hit the fucking jackpot. Thank you, Warwick Davis, for bringing this character to life. See you all soon.
Try as they will, try as they might, who steals me gold won't live through the night. This old Lep, he played pogo on his lung.
Still got it, haven't I? Okay.